patient that came in, and I think this will relate to a lot of people, and so that's why I bring this specific concept up. So he comes in, and one of the things he would like to work on is anxiety, self-confidence, self-worth. He owns his own business, and so one thing is has a ton of anxiety as gas prices go up, as materials go up, and he also is really stressed constantly, either all winter about waiting for spring in Wisconsin to come and the jobs he does or does not have, and then stressed once it starts to be able to complete it before our winter in Wisconsin comes back, and then how to juggle the finances and the things like that in the meantime. So that's what the concept was. Those were the symptoms and the goals that we started with. So what we identified together was a couple different things. One is he really has a hard time now spending any money. One of the things that we asked the subconscious was, do you respect money? And it was a no. And so a lot of times you would think that means like you blow your money or you spend it frivolously. And actually what his is he doesn't spend any. He gets it and then keeps it. And so we that had come up. And then another belief had come up where we were able to identify where it came from. But one belief was, you don't buy anything unless it's going to make you money. And so he said that out loud, and it was like, oh. And he said, yeah, that's a struggle. I know it's not healthy, but I don't know what to do with it. So then we went back, okay, where is that coming from? So what's going on in your parents when you grew up? Both parents had full-time jobs outside of the house, dad being in the financial realm. And then they had a full-time business that they ran as a family also. So they are very hard workers. They never went without as children, but they also didn't spend any money. And so we think that things come from really traumatic experiences in here, and it's actually
just life.
Yeah, it's just life. And so I wanted to talk about that and just go back and forth on what concepts come up for you and what you think about that.
Well, first of all, I think that one of the most valuable things that you guys did was identify, okay, oh, this is my tendency toward, and then back it up a couple steps to try to figure out, okay, well, where did that come from? And one thing that I can say that I've seen a lot of would be the generation whose parents went through the Great Depression, and they literally didn't have anything. They actually had to save every single penny. And then that got passed down to like my generation's parents in many cases. So it's that constant, I have to save money, I have to save money, I have to save money, I can't spend it. That's a super powerful belief system. And it makes sense why so many people have now had that downloaded. It's like an inherited belief system. But one of the most valuable things that you guys did was basically ask the question, yes, but is this serving him? Right. Is it serving me to think like that? In my world, I would almost call that, it's almost like a spiritual idolatry of money. Because what you just said is true. Usually you think, oh, you just blow money on anything and everything all over the place, like materialism. But what I have come to feel and see is almost just as detrimental, but maybe even more, is this idolatry of saving money. And it's just a constant focus on money. Super unhealthy, right? Money is actually just an idea, by the way. It's literally just an idea. We have made it up to be something. This costs that. This is a value and it costs that. We print paper. It's just an idea. Even thinking that I own this piece of property that the clinic sits on. No, I don't. I mean, God owns it. So I gave some money for it. But the point is, it's not mine. So we have this belief that we own things. and that it's ours and we have to hold on to it. It's a fear-based belief system. And, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of roots to this, but, you know, it's capitalism. It's America, it's capitalism. That's what we've been told. I have to mention the book right now because it's a genius book called Letting Go by Dr. Hawkins. Just amazing to kind of show where some of this concept has come from. And at least in the past, it did create a lot of hard workers, but oftentimes to the point of completely ill health. To work, 9 to 5, 9 to 8, 9 to 12, whatever it is. Money. Because that is what we have told all of our egos defines us. This makes me cool or not cool. This gives me stuff that makes me look cool or not cool. It's all about status. None of it has anything to do with internal fulfillment or joy or contentment. None of it. And so we have this fake idea that the more money we have, the more stuff we have, the happier we're going to be. But look around. Obviously, that's not the case. Because but many people are super unhappy and super unhealthy. And they hold themselves to that job because it was the job that they wanted to get or needed to get, or their parents wanted them to get, or the degree their parents wanted them to get, or whatever. But the point is that's all ego driven. It's all ego fed. None of that has anything to do with joy, fulfillment, happiness, or health. And it's a super toxic, in my opinion, belief system that we have as a structure over us right now. So getting back to his example, like he just never spends any money. He's still idolizing it.
Right.
Because it's a focus at all. It really should be more the kind of thing that, well, I shouldn't say should, but, and we're focusing on money right now, of course, but there's way many other ways to be abundant. And one of the things that I think is the saddest thing for where we're at in our culture is the constant focus on money as being what makes you abundant. Where I would say, no, you're abundant if you're happy. You're abundant if you have joy.
Yeah.
You're abundant if you have strong, healthy relationships with healthy communication. You're abundant if you are able to go outside and breathe pure oxygen. And if you can have, clean water to drink, and especially if you can have healthy food. And I don't even want to say organic. All organic means is original food before it was completely altered and chemically modified to be non-food. So organic is really shouldn't even be a term. It should be living, real, natural food. I mean, that is what abundance really truly is. And if you look at nature, there is more than enough ample supply of every possible thing that anything in nature needs. And we are part of nature. What the fake artificial construct is that has made everybody feel like they don't have enough is all the fake materialistic stuff that literally doesn't matter. But again, it's all ideas that we have been told matters. You need to have X amount of cars, X type of house, X number. You see what I'm saying? It's all just ideas. And if you just get rid of the idea, you're fine.
Right.
And you have way more than enough compared to almost every other place on the planet.
So I've seen a few different examples of this in my own life where I've stopped to ask the question, like, where does that belief come from? And so in money and abundance, but for instance, when we get our new shower filters, this is so silly, but we get our new shower filters, you're supposed to turn them on and then let the charcoal run out, and you're supposed to let them run for like 15-20 minutes. It is a really big struggle at our house to allow that to happen because you're wasting water. But it's not city water, so it's not paying for it. But that is a hardcore belief that I don't think myself or my husband would have ever gotten to. It has to be what is just so bred into us.
Bred into us, yes.
It's unreal.
Yes, but we all have those things.
Yeah, but it seems so silly because it's like water.
Yes, when either you realize it or somebody points it out, you're like, oh my gosh, that's so stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're just a product of our programming, honest to God.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It is amazing.
So I want to go to one space on this same concept with the same patient. So one of the things that you and I talk about quite often that is, I think, really, really helpful for people to understand, because I know it's helped me a ton, is to understand making space for other things.
Mm-hmm.
So we can use it in a money example like we have been, but we could use it in a lot of other examples too. So this same guy has a business, and so it's he is really good about taking jobs to fill his schedule for the amount of time that's in the season.
Mm-hmm.
And so if he's missing a job, he gets really upset. Or if a job does not sign and he thought they were going to sign, something like that. That brings up all the same emotions as seeing gas prices. And so I would love for us to talk about the space that contract holds. And of course, we're talking the money aspect of it, but there's a whole bunch more to this story.
Yes, and I think the first step is for somebody to get really real with themselves and identify what their highest priority is. So for me, in the example, what you just said with him, I'm going to use an example on my own schedule, my own clinic schedule,
okay.
Because there were years and years in there where I accepted X number of patient cases per week, and then new people coming in per week, and then maximum number of people per week to see clinically.
Okay.
All day, every day. And that went on, I don't even remember how many years before I actually stopped to reflect and ask myself the question, do you want to see this many people a week? Because I was swamped and running around like a chicken with my head cut off. And it literally took me years until I first asked myself the question, do you want to see this many patients a week? And I was like, no, I am exhausted. But I asked myself, where did that belief come from? And I could trace it all the way back to some random statement in some random training from some doctor who was giving his clinical experience of how many patient visits he saw a week. And that was when I got that in my mind. And I had basically met that standard for all of those years since for no reason other than I hadn't questioned it before.
Right.
So that was the first shift for me. And then however long ago, a year or two ago, another shift was basically, I was like, oh my gosh, I never have time to, work out or do my eye appointment or, do this or do that or do the bills or whatever it was. All this stuff I wasn't having time for. The result was chaos. Always breathing super shallow, trying to keep up, trying to get, and it was always just this, my dad called me for a long time, the whirling dervish. And that was totally exactly who I was. And it was just that simple. I stopped to reflect and I was like, do I need every single day, all day long to be jam-packed full of people? Not at all. It's just that, again, that was my new criteria. That was however many people I've always seen. And I didn't question it. And I don't care about how many patient visits from a financial perspective or anything like that. It was more like, this is so I can get enough people in and I can see everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought, and so is all of these separate people, all of their health more important than yours, Ashley?
Right.
And that was when the ball dropped. I was like, what am I doing? But what I'm trying to say is it was literally innocent. I never looked at numbers. I just, all day, every day, like to see as many people as I can. And it was innocent. But I was not putting my health as a priority. And when I did, When I made that shift, which is like block this off for this, block that off for that, and if I need a personal, office hours at the end, and if I need a personal half day and I can go do something I need to take care of for myself or my family, I can do that. And it felt horrible in the beginning because I was like, I can't do that. And it's hilarious because it's like I'm so used to taking orders from professors or from general managers that I just still have that same conditioned self coming through. It's like I'm my own boss and I have been for years, and I would not let myself have any of my own time scheduled. So back to him, so in his case, it sounds like it's more a financial kind of like every single possible thing has to be
Correct.
scheduled, and I need to get X amount of revenue for the year to make it or something like that. Where in my case, it was just more just conditioning from I always wanted to do a maximum output because that's kind of how I was trained to think. But what I can tell you in my experience is as soon as I started making space for myself and space for my own needs, my own health, my own family, my joy literally quadrupled in one day from when I made that change. And I literally felt like somebody was gonna like slap me for it. I was like, oh my gosh, can I do this? And then I was like, oh my gosh, I am so much happier. And then you start scheduling something like the workout, short little workout at work. And then you fast forward 6 months and you're like, I am so much healthier. I am so much more relaxed. I'm having so much more fun. I love going to work. I love to see people. I don't have that resentment and that bitterness anymore because I'm not taking care of myself. Right. It's not their fault. It was my fault. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So when I think about him, it's like, okay, buddy, like first of all, you need to enjoy some return on investment to yourself for working so hard and for doing a really good job managing your own business. Don't make money king. Make your self-fulfillment and joy king. Take time for yourself. Take time off. Schedule vacations. Nobody else is going to do it for you. If you're your own boss, nobody will do it for you. You have to take that time and schedule it, and then enjoy it. And then if you have to cut back in some other place later, okay, fine. But the reality is, I guarantee he's going to find it's not going to be the case. He is probably going to find he doubles his income from taking care of himself, because that is how frequencies work. That's how energy works. The more abundant a person is, it's going to be a result of how much they give. The energy of giving is the energy of receiving, but you have to also give to yourself and invest into yourself if you are a temple. You have to invest into yourself. So, and you don't give so that you get. It's not like that. But the reality is by giving, you are healing yourself because you're healing somebody else, and we're all connected. We really are all connected, and it's all oneness. So when you help heal somebody else, you're helping heal yourself. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? So it's like this guy, I'm like, I'd be like, hello, like take time for yourself. Don't worry about the stupid books. They're always gonna be there. Every single year, you're gonna have all of these, like, oh no, my expenses and where am I at? And the reality is, as soon as you start to make money, you've got to pay it all back in taxes anyway. Right. So you might as well get busy living now. And my husband and I talk about this all the time with the retirement concept, because this is another kind of cultural thing where it's like work your butt off all through your 20s, 30s, 40s. All the years when you have young children that you want to love on and that you want to invest into and you want to enjoy, we're programmed to totally be distracted and work our jobs like crazy. Now they're out of the house, and now you have all this money saved up for your retirement, and then you die. Right. If you can get it there, you die because you're so exhausted and stressed out. And so my husband is genius about this. He always says, that doesn't actually resonate with me at all. I would rather live on a shoestring if we need to, drop down to part-time, enjoy the children and
Right.
invest into them because they're people, they're living lives, versus invest into a house or whatever else you could invest into. And then once they're out of the house, if we need more money, great. Then I'll go back and I'll work full time because there's really nothing else to do.
Right.
And maintain my quality of life, maintain my health, and etc. And why don't we ever think that way? And then go back into the workforce kind of full time, and the kids are out and they don't need you as much anymore. And the first time you ever said that, I was like, that is just genius. That is just genius. And so what does that mean? It might mean not as nice of a car, not as nice of a house. And then we're back to, that's all materialism anyway.
Right.
None of that matters. It's all just ideas. But quality of life, relationships, and health, that stuff is actually real.
Right.
So,
Awesome.
yeah, sorry. That was a lot.
Okay.
I think I'm passionate about this subject.
Yeah, fantastic. So what would you say on the concept of the symptom of panic and anxiety and all of that constantly coming back?
So when the body triggers, or when the body resonates panic, anxiety, depression, things like that, that's the check engine light that the belief is out of alignment. So if the belief is that he can't
Buy
Have-
anything that
buy
doesn't make
anything
money.
that doesn't make money, have any open space on his schedule, do anything that he enjoys for himself, of course, he's going to be, it's that fear mentality, that fear mindset of, if I spend this money on whatever he wants to buy for himself, then I won't have enough. That's all fear-based. So he should be feeling anxiety and panic. But that should be the trigger for him to realize this is not in alignment with reality. This isn't in spiritual alignment, because when something's in spiritual alignment, you have peace.
Right.
And it really is that simple. So when you look at something and you're consistently feeling anxiety or panic over it, the key is just keep digging deeper and go, okay, yes, but why? Or and why? And why? And because why? And then you'll get down to that kind of deep message that you tell yourself, and then you're going to find that that's not in alignment with highest spiritual principles.
Right. And the awareness of, and us just stopping to take a minute to be like, hey, that belief,
Isn't
where did that come from? And is that serving me?
yes.
Is it serving me at all?
Is it
And a
serving?
lot of times it's not, because it's somebody else's belief.
Absolutely.
And that's okay. That's
Yeah.
absolutely normal. Every one of us has it. But the
Just
awareness
like our
of-
physical body, I mean, we have everything from our parents, right?
Right.
So it's a
Right.
good thing. It's just some of it maybe isn't ideal.
Maybe it just needs an upgrade.
Yes, it needs an upgrade. Yes, exactly.
Good deal.
So.
Okay. Thank you.